There's a point I've been trying to make with these videos, and I'm not sure I'm succeeding. What I'm trying to say is, yes, you. Yes, I mean you specifically. Not gonna lie, I feel like I can cut an inspirational montage around you to do the same. That's what building a better world looks like. And I can't tell you how much I love reading the comments. To think I might play any role in someone's activism journey is just so heartwarming. But in my mind, here's what actually happens when someone finishes my videos. It's 2026. It's time to become the person in public that you are in your own mind. Yeah, fuck! Oh, I'm so fired up! Yeah, fuck ICE! Free Palestine! Eat the rich! Ah! Ah! I don't know what to do. I don't know how to start a union. I don't see any ICE agents. Oof. When's the next No Kings March? I get it. I focus less on effective actions you can take right now, and more on cultivating yourself into someone who can capitalize on opportunities. Notice a sticker to remove. Happen upon an unfolding situation. But then, do you gotta wait around for the opportunities? How do I be a good person, like, immediately? Everything reactive requires waiting, but everything proactive seems hard, or uncertain, or isolating, scary, dubiously effective. Meanwhile, there's a march next week. It's on a weekend, pre-planned, convenient, low risk. And it's like the opposite of the anxiety-inducing sign-holding scenario I described last time. The reason my friends attend big public marches is to feel less alone. You're surrounded by hundreds, thousands of people who at least partially agree with you. For some of you, going to your first public march is, in itself, a huge step. You're going from here to here on the descent chart, from private belief to signaling. You still ache to do more, or at least you ache to see more being done, but you look at your community's activists and think, I'm not them. I'm not confident. I'm not confrontational. I could never be the person to start an argument or pick a fight. Unfortunately, it is true that marches aren't gonna cut it. Fixing our world is going to take more initiative, more spontaneous bravery, more passion, more energy, more footwork, more passion. But I also have good news for you. Yes, you. I'm talking to you. I'm going to tell you the most common type of opportunity to spontaneously arise. It's non-confrontational. It's supportive, even. And yet it's where I see solidarity fall down. Activists lose their nerve. Organizers burn out. It's low lift, easy to plug into. It's just not pre-planned. And yet it's the building block of every strike, any organization, every community. It's peer support. I want you to put yourself into this hypothetical. I cut it from the last video because it didn't fit the tone, but just really, really think about it. Let's say your boss announces that it's against company policy to discuss your wages amongst your coworkers. You know that it is federally protected for workers to discuss their compensation, and that even if it wasn't, you should feel free to do it anyway. You, at the very least, know your coworkers should be aware of their labor rights, and you think this is a pretty scummy move by your boss. Do you say something? Let's say that your coworker does speak up. You're privately happy that she did, but do you vocally agree with her? Some of you watching might be thinking, yeah, this sounds easy. But then you find that when the time comes to do something you might consider easy, you get a tight feeling in your chest. Your hands start to jitter. You lose confidence. It's easier to say nothing. The real stares of your real coworkers become discouraging. What are they thinking? What might they think about you if you say something? Would they stand up for you? The way you're wondering if you should stand up for her? Moments pass, and you say nothing. The meeting ends, your boss slightly chastened, still mostly indignant, and your coworkers shuffle off to their respective workspaces. The next day, you find the coworker who spoke up and you say, "Thanks for doing that. Thanks for saying something." And your coworker says, "Oh man, I'm so glad you agree with me. I felt crazy back there. It made me feel like I shouldn't have said anything. I got a talking to from our manager afterward. I think I'm on thin ice." You wonder, would your coworker be in so much trouble now if you and those others had said something in that moment too? It's easier to crack down on the one person who's willing to say something. It's way easier when they're alone. And so ruefully she adds, "A few people have thanked me, and that makes me feel better, but I wish some of you had stood next to me so I didn't feel so stupid." Maybe you can't imagine being the person who stands up to your boss, or even speaking up next to your coworker. That's risky. I want to point out that the reason we view these actions as risky is because we don't currently count on other people to back us up. But really, when your coworker said it's fucked up that you don't get a meal break after a 5-hour shift, did you say anything? Or did you think, psh, nothing's ever going to change around here, they are wasting their time? But what if you had tried? Do you see the self-fulfilling prophecy? As we all sit around wondering why nothing ever changes around here? You're also possibly thinking of moments where you could have thanked someone for work they did, but you didn't. Maybe you didn't realize how meaningful it would have been. After all, this person seems so confident. It might not have occurred to you that she's scared too. Break yourself out of the idea that simply agreeing in private is enough. Because if you've never spoken to that brave colleague who you respect, they might seem very self-assured, they might look confident, but I can guarantee you that they are making the internal calculation about whether it was worth it for them to speak up. Maybe you don't entirely agree with how she worded what she said. We live in this all-or-nothing environment where a single word out of place can cause someone to withdraw support for you as a person. You can disagree on the details. What you are fighting for is the ability of your coworkers to speak up on what matters. Do not make your support conditional upon perfection. And the right knows all of this, consciously or subconsciously. How hard do they attempt to keep gender and sexuality quote-unquote rule breakers feeling shamed into staying in the closet? People are way less bold when their boldness goes unsupported in their community. And that's part of the reason I do not disavow these large symbolic displays. If you want to think more on this topic, go watch the Innuendo Studios video on mainstreaming. It's very related. So if you see someone dissenting or advocating and you appreciate them, at least start with telling them thank you. And then work yourself up to giving them signs of support in the moment. Only by being willing to do this can we build a landscape where speaking up for what's right, doing what's right, doesn't feel like you're going against the masses.
I saw a quote that said, "Everyone wants to have a village, but no one wants to be a villager."
This phrase has been gaining popularity online. Everybody wants a village, but nobody wants to be a villager. Yes. Everyone wants worker power. No one wants to build it. Everyone wants a policy change. Nobody wants to lose their job. Everyone wants strong, citizen-led community initiatives. No one wants to meet on the weekends. Peer support is part of your job as a villager. We're not always defending ourselves from outside threats. Sometimes we're creating our own stability. We often talk a big game about being ready to throw hands or shout someone down, but are you willing to go check on someone? How much time do you spend arguing with strangers online versus making your friends and local leaders feel appreciated? Sometimes I get asked, how do I get started organizing? You start by meeting the people in the community you're trying to organize. Before anything is even wrong, just know your coworkers' names, learn what your peers do and don't like about their jobs. And then, when something happens, you've built some trust with the people around you. They know you're supportive and safe. My first organizing experience was built on a foundation of listening. Because, y'all, my coworkers and I were miserable. We had near daily cry walks. Someone would post in our chat, "Can anyone go for a walk?" And someone would say, "Yep." And then 2 or 3 or 4 of us would go for a walk while someone cried. Before we ever had a meeting, before we ever had demands, before we said anything to our boss, our organizing was built on mutual support. Before organizing was what we were even doing. Organizers don't always do this perfectly. Friends don't always do this perfectly. That's okay. This, too, is something we learn. So, yes, you, learn how to do the work of emotional support, just as you might learn strategy or OPSEC. This is how organizations sustain themselves. Let me tell you about a time when bad communication and poor emotional awareness hamstrung our organizing committee. And my artist is busy, so we're gonna do a collage. With birds. With arms. One day, at a meeting for our organizing committee, I looked around the table and realized I was the only woman there. Hang on, I thought. How long has it been like this? When was the last time I saw Brittany? I know Anya stopped coming a while ago. Sarah came to like 3 meetings and then stopped, but that's kind of common. And, Aditi was really passionate last month. This doesn't feel like a coincidence. Our female attrition was, well, everyone except for me. So I pulled aside a longtime member who, honestly, I'd had a few talks with about being condescending. But we were peers, we were working through it. And without looking like he thought too hard about what I was saying, he responded, "Well, some people aren't really cut out for this kind of work." I was speechless. This person is hearing me read a list of attrition, exclusively female, and their immediate response is, all of these women weren't able to hack it? I knew that wasn't true. Most of them continued to be avidly involved elsewhere. So I decided to do what no one had. I got lunch with all of these women, and I asked them why they left. Unsurprisingly, they reported what I had also been dealing with. They'd felt condescended to by the same few members. They were getting talked over in meetings, or belittled for not knowing specific jargon. One by one, they eventually decided, this space isn't for me. I have better things to do with my time. So I learned that 1 or 2 condescending organizers had driven away at least 6 other organizers. Wow! Is there such a thing as anti-organizing? It's ironic. The first thing any organizer is taught is how to one-on-one, how to bring someone new into the organization. You listen to their concerns. You tell them we're building a structure to support and uplift each other. We'd literally leave each meeting with a list of people to talk to. But then once you're in, apparently, you sink or swim. We didn't seem to care about the concerns of the people leaving. Must be that they couldn't hack it. One of the women said to me, I realized I'd stopped one-on-oneing people because I didn't believe what I was saying. It felt wrong to bring people into an organization where I didn't feel supported, even if I believed in our mission. Our OC stagnated. I left that company, in large part due to organizer burnout. I feel bad. I feel like a traitor talking about times my organizations fell down or failed the people that they were trying to support. It's tempting to talk like, everything's fine, go organize, get after it, it's fun, yeah, it's perfect, it's great, but organizing is hard. Speaking up is hard, activism is hard, it's all hard. And we can make it less hard by being good to each other, as much as we can. I observed an action last week led by an organization I'm new to. And let's just say, it did not go as planned. And you could see that the person who coordinated the action was just really embarrassed. They got bad intel, or maybe not enough intel. Nothing catastrophic happened. But it was a bummer to see hours of work amount to nothing. And of course I thought, well, they should plan better next time. Oh well. And the organizers did have a postmortem to diagnose what went wrong and prevent that from happening again. But afterward, in the group chat for the action, I wrote, "This work is hard, and I appreciate you for doing it. Leading actions like this takes guts." And a bunch of people hearted it. It would be easy for an activist to let one embarrassing action destroy their confidence. It's easy to imagine him sitting alone afterward going, "Oh God, I let everyone down. Who's gonna want to work with me again? Should I even go to the next meeting?" But, as is true for all things, trying sometimes means failing. Let's help each other contextualize moments like this as learning experiences. Let's help someone rebuild their confidence after tough moments. Even just smaller things, like someone asked what to wear to the action, and then they asked if phones should be left at home, and then they said, "Sorry, all of my questions are probably really annoying." And so I responded, "I'm happy you're asking questions." And a few people thumbsed it up. Easy. Nobody can know what's in your head. They can only know what you say and do. Here's how the last video was supposed to end. I was really focused on walkouts and symbolic actions, basically trying to explain why leftists can find them useful. Here we go. Even just the appearance of support meant so much to me when I was putting that much time into organizing. Yes, we wanted active support, that was the best. But we could cultivate more of that within the community that identified themselves as supportive. Walkouts and petitions got us in touch with people. It inspired some of them to be open to showing up in bigger ways, especially when they could see themselves surrounded by a like-minded crowd. We made friends and developed new leaders. If we show up to a symbolic event and cultivate progressive energy, bring progressive education to a space where people feel a little more safe, a little more open-minded. Sure, you won't reach everybody, but maybe you plant a seed. Maybe the energy you pour in cultivates, starts the journey of your community's next great organizer. Who sent you on your journey? How did you get here? And that's all true, but just as important as who got you started on your journey is who's helping you continue. And many of you are doing that for me. Thank you so much for helping build my capacity. What a beautiful circle of giving. So this year, more thank yous, more I'm listening, more passion, more energy, more listening, more cry walks, more meetings, more passion, more energy, more listening, more more cry walks, more footwork, more birds, more arms, more birds with arms, more birds with arms, more cry walks, more meetings, more listening, more meetings, more meetings, more meetings, more meetings.